Hello, my name is Kat Sivertsen. I'm a visual artist located on the traditional ancestral lands of the Lheidli First Nations peoples in north central British Columbia, Canada. You're watching this video because of an interest in eco or botanical printmaking, and in particular, the kind of workshop that you might expect from me. Eco, or botanical printing, is an ancient form of printmaking using tannin-rich plants. For me, that means weeds gathered in the wild and not cultivated in the garden. There are many tannin-rich plants that can be found near bodies of water, whether running or still. However, this is not always the case. Consider where you see fireweed, goldenrod, and blackberry. Blackberry, that stuff can grow in the middle or pop through the middle of a paved street. Tannin-rich plants are then processed, which I'll talk about in a minute, and are printed onto a receptive surface. Receptive surfaces are all made from natural fibers: cellulose fibers, textile, cottons, linen, hemp, paper, wood, papyrus, reed, hemp, and many more. Protein or animal-based fibers: wool, derived from sheep; silk, created from silkworms; and hair, which could be Angora goat, llama, or alpaca. In this workshop, we'll be using an organic cotton shawl sourced from Maywa.com out of Vancouver. I'd like to point out the image on the right-hand side. It's an echo print of coyote willow, and this is printed onto a lovely piece of silk, ethically sourced from Maywa in Vancouver. But the willow itself was found growing on a bog in Wells, north central British Columbia. And something that I did not know when I was on residency there, that there are 64 different kinds of willow located in this particular bog. So back to echo printing. Getting ready to print is very labor intensive. But if the investment in labor hasn't happened beforehand, the risk is that the prints may not be as successful. For this workshop, I prepare all the materials beforehand, scouring the textiles, not the papers, but the textiles for sure, and mordanting both textiles and papers. I also set up the dye pot. As a group, we will gather the plant material together, and individually you will then work on your own pieces, which I'll show you in a video what's coming up shortly. You lay out, roll up, bind the materials together, and you process the materials in the dye pot, and then unbundle to reveal the print. And of course, as I said, there is a video coming up that explains that visually better than my words that I've selected. The natural dye pot that I use is called a dirty pot. This means that it's an iron-rich pot that's been invigorated with tannin-rich plants. The iron content comes from rusty objects, and the plant material is bark, leaves, stalks, etc. Probably added during the gathering. All of these materials remain in the pot, and until, of course, the plant material is depleted. And the rusted object stays in the pot for the duration of the dye pot. And as you know, iron oxide, which is a major component, is the component in metal that we use, is from an earth pigment or compound, and as such it's natural, and in this case it remains inert or intact. It's not airborne. This dirty part is wonderful because it literally gets better with age. As such, I store as much of it as I can to be used to start the next season's pot or the next residency's pot. This is a hot pot, a hot process, and as such could require, depending on the materials and the timing and the plants, up to an hour of processing or simmering with the materials inside the pot. Logistically, the workshop is delivered in person. It's always a small group, depending, of course, on what the how many cooking areas we have and how many pots. Also, it lasts all day. It requires a full day because I will present the process. We gather the materials together, lay out the materials onto the textiles, process the plant in the dye pot and unbundle to reveal the print. We also have refreshments and picnic and really do have a good time together. Budgets, location, purpose, etc. is all open to negotiation in terms of what your needs might be or what I can offer. You can contact me through my website, the contact page on my website, which is katsivertsen.ca. This particular image is a print of a wild rose leaves and domestic rose petals that have been imbued with iron water. This is printed onto one of Maywa's really substantial cotton tea towels, and you can see the fiber, the natural weave of the fiber. Really beautiful materials. So this workshop is um, based on this kind of a workshop, this kind of process, eco and botanical printmaking. This particular one was done with a group that I had a residency with in Chilliwack, Cultus Lake, in the rainforest. Hence, it's raining, and which we don't mind at all in the middle of summer. And it's basically giving a quick overview of the process. Here we have Claire laying out the plant material on the prepared fabric, having a little dance, having a good time, spraying the plant material with some iron water, which is basically water that's got a piece of iron in the middle of it. And the iron water and the tannins, they talk to each other. They create some music, and it's just asking everybody to wake up a little bit and join the party. Folding over, and then you'll see here's Fran. She's rolling up the plant material around a pipe, and the pipe is used because it has a weight to it. It's solid. You can get some really wonderful tension between the textile and the plant material. You can see that it's almost embossed. There's so much tension on there. You keep the tension by binding it together with some cotton rope. It has to be cotton because it goes into a hot pot, and if it was plastic, it would melt. The hot pot, that, as I told you, was a dirty pot, and that simmers for approximately 40 minutes to an hour, depending on circumstances. Just enough time to have a lovely picnic. Here we have let them cool down, and now we're unbundling. And the next three bundles are completely different plants. Same day, completely different plants, completely different combinations of plant material. This is blackberry with some ferns. This is Japanese maple leaf, oak, and fern. And then in the next slide, we also have some walnut leaves that have been laid out in more of a design pattern. So it could be a design, it could be also sort of a random placement. No experience required, always a surprise, always something different coming up, and you'll go away wanting more. Here's Sarah and Tracy having a bit of a laugh. saying that they're now fashion models with their textile piece. So, just to sort of wrap up, eco or botanical printmaking is a magical, ancient way of working where you can connect with nature. It's an environmental and sustainable method of printmaking, working with nature, not from it. It's process-based workshop with an outcome. It's planned but no guarantees, invigorates the learning process, and inspires a deeper connection with nature. So I just want to show you this image on the right. This is fireweed. It's one of my favorites, and I have expectations when I go to print with fireweed. However, those expectations are always tweaked. This is the fireweed print. It was a sandwich print, meaning that the fireweed was put in between two pieces of paper, rolled together, and on the left we have a fireweed ghosted print, and on the right we have a very vibrant print. So, as I said, depending on the plant, the placement, the paper could be different, the mortising time could be different, so there's no guarantees, but you'll always come away with something. And just, it always invites you to come back, to play for more, to invigorate that curiosity. I tend to call it the alchemy of material curiosity. So, thank you for your attention. And if you're interested, as I mentioned, contact me through my website. And finally, go outside. Smell the roses. In this case, paintbrush. Pink paintbrush found on the bog in Wells, BC. Thank you for listening.